Yeah, I noticed that the chats were disabled. So I'm going to be doing a lot of unannounced, random live streams because I'm testing a bunch of stuff out. I want to do something a little bit more proper with schedules. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Let me first start with that. Ooh, dog! Whoa, 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 whoa! The dogs almost ran right in front of me. Yeah, you see, there's a lot of people out now. Look at this. Look at all these people. They're like catching little critters when the tide goes down. And there's a bunch of them that get exposed here. My kids came down to catch tadpoles and stuff like that before as well. But things are getting back to normal. You know, somebody sat on something. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a bunch of random, unscheduled live streams just to see the quality. And later on, I'll do some scheduled stuff. This is Shenzhen, Nanshan District, Shenzhen Bay Park. I'm using a gimbal right now. I actually lost my DJI gimbal. I think I left it in Macau. If you guys have seen my Macau video, I think I left it in the hotel there. So now I'm using something called the Flow Motion. I bought it off of Kickstarter. It was a Kickstarter project, and I think they started before DJI even started. Oh man, there's a lot of people here actually. There's a lot of people out. How's the image for you guys? Is it steady? I might lose you, so bear with me if I come in and out. That security was just looking at me like, am I supposed to let this guy in or not? Because I'm on this weird, let me see if I can show you guys. This is what I'm on. So sometimes it's like electric scooters are not allowed in here, but they look at this and they don't know what it is. So sometimes they let me through. But I think technically, if I was a law-abiding citizen, I shouldn't be on this in here. But I'm not completely. Yeah, I saw that on my drive around. That was my mistake. When I looked back at it, I tried to do a new live stream and I saw that I had to manually restart the comments allowed. It was by default unallowed. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know why it did that. I don't know how long this, my phone battery is actually pretty low right now. I'm filming on my Huawei P30 Pro right now. It's at about 20% battery. And also my gimbal that I'm using is not fully charged right now. So you can see actually on the bridge, you're going to see a lot of cargo trucks. This is the Shenzhen Bay Bridge to Hong Kong. And you're going to see mostly cargo trucks. I just lost you guys there again. Obviously, cargo trucks weren't allowed across to Hong Kong. They get the majority of their produce from China, so they'd be pretty screwed if it's closed to even cargo. Yeah, you guys might lose me on and off. So I've got two choices for live streaming. I've got live streaming with my GoPro, but then when I'm live streaming with my GoPro, I have to use my Hong Kong SIM card, and I don't have as much data on my Hong Kong SIM card because I can't use a VPN. Or what I'm doing now is I'm on my China SIM card directly on my phone without my GoPro, but I'm using a VPN. So that, in those cases, I might drop on and off. Got something that's itching my foot. Some birds there flying around. Beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Nice day. That neighborhood over there is Tin Shui Wei in Hong Kong. It has a nickname called the City of Sadness. It's one of the less affluent neighborhoods. And so you had like a really high suicide rate and stuff like that there before. I think it's a little bit better now, but Tin Shui Wei in Hong Kong is known locally, in Hong Kong at least, as the City of Sadness. Something cool happened today when I was out at DHL. I had somebody who was in the lineup with me, and she looked at me and she said, "Hey, are you that guy who did the mask factory visit?" I was like, "No way." Said, "You saw that?" It was pretty cool because somebody reposted it on the Chinese internet, and it's apparently gone somewhat viral as well. It's a beautiful park. As you guys probably heard, Wuhan is not weekend. This is going to be a lot more busy. Weekend it was really packed. No, I don't think it's time for China to unblock Google and Facebook. And I'll tell you why. The foreign propaganda is way better than Chinese propaganda. China has propaganda. Anybody who's saying otherwise is fooling themselves, but it's way worse. Guyana, British Guyana reached independence. A little bit too friendly with the Soviet Union. So the CIA, and these are declassified documents. It's verified. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's from the US government. They confirmed, yes, we did this. And so they went into Guyana, my mother's country, and they created a racial between the two main ethnic groups. And destabilized the country, overthrew the president or prime minister, and installed somebody who magically wasn't as pro-Soviet Union. And no matter what you think, no matter what your ideas are about the Soviet Union or not, this kind of foreign interference and regime change stuff is really quite ridiculous, and it happens over and over. Doing his speech in what do you call it, in Texas, and he said, yeah, in the CIA we are taught, we literally have handbooks on how to lie, cheat, and steal. And so with the fact that China's really focused on building its economy right now, and if it had to deal with all of that crap, having its citizens who are just being exposed to the outside world slowly, and they're kind of being slowly introduced to it. And it's not only Guyana. That's only one example that's close to home, because people in Guyana, especially the older generation, they're still very racist towards each other, the Indians and the blacks. And so even though they know that this was artificially instigated, they still have these racial tendencies, racist tendencies towards each other. And the younger generation, it's much better, but I tell you, I'm ashamed of some of the stuff my grandmother says. She, my Guyanese grandmother from my mother's side. The older generation is so racist, it's so ingrained into them. And so when you consider how poor China is at doing propaganda, no, I think it's too much of a risk right now. You've had 700 million people raised out of poverty. You have the Gini coefficient, which is the indicator of the wealth gap, reducing for the last 10 years. The last 2 years, there was a little bit of an uptick. They're doing good things for their people. I don't think now is the right time. I lost you guys there again for a second. I've got to stop. I've got something in my shoe that's bugging me. Hold on one second. Clear out my shoe. Lucas, hello. Hubei's Hubei's no longer on lockdown, eh? I'm a little bit reluctant to give the name of the factory because I'm not in that business, and I don't want to be responsible for recommending anything poor to people. And you know, if you run into issues with the factory, ultimately people are going to hold me responsible because I introduced the factory. My purpose of that video was to just show people what to look for in a factory. Obviously, that's a pretty manual factory. There are factories that are way more automated than that. But these are the kinds of factories that are popping up to handle the supply in the short term. But the thing you got to keep in mind is any pre-existing mask factories that existed before this pandemic, they pretty much sell exclusively to the Chinese government. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's destined for Chinese-based hospitals. It also includes the supplies that China is donating overseas. So the supply pretty much goes through them completely. So that's why I was reluctant to leave any contact information for the factory. I don't want to be held responsible for anything. Lost you guys there again for a second. We'll be dropping in and out based on the connection. I've got my 5G phone I should probably open up. I've been holding on to for a while. I'm sure the factory would love it if I shared their contact information, but again, I just don't want to be responsible for it. I am sending some supply to Canada, but how's the quality of the image coming through? So I think the stabilization looks good, but I don't, whoa, look at this guy. That's a serious gas mask. Did you guys see that? I don't know if he seriously thinks he needs that kind of a gas mask or if it's like deliberately to restrict the oxygen. I've seen people training like that where they put these masks on to deliberately restrict the oxygen to make it even more difficult to do cardio. Or if he really thinks he should have these full kind of masks on. Mason? The air freight costs have really gone up. Actually, it took a little while for the courier costs to go up. So the courier fees to ship, for example, to Toronto, the air freight, if you ship something with air freight, you still have to customs clear it yourself to the final destination. That was at 80 renminbi per kilogram cost. And it increased so quickly that it was actually the same price as the UPS courier door-to-door charges. And so last night, UPS started to increase their courier fees because they were like, oh crap, air freight, which is not door to door, is cheaper. I mean, or is the same price as what we're charging for door to door. So they've increased their prices as of last night. Again, 5G is available, but not all over Shenzhen. In certain spots, I think where I am, it's available. There's a lot of people here. This one-wheel skateboard that I'm on, electric skateboard, it's not available in China. It's a product that's made in California. So you'll notice if the resolution is good enough. I get a lot of looks. A lot of people are looking at it like, what the heck is that? I'm getting a low battery notification, so I might have to cut off here, guys, soon. But yeah, that's right. I just saw China Mobile Hong Kong came out with some new 5G packages. They've got some 100 megabyte packages. I'm not going yet. I have 20%. I got a notification that I've got 20% battery left. Hopefully, I'm going to take you to my old neighborhood if the battery lasts that long, and see if some of my old friends from the old poor village neighborhoods, whatever you want to call it. It's like really the rough area of town. Well, as rough as you can get for Shenzhen. Almost ran into somebody. It's my fault though. I shouldn't be here on this. This is why electric scooters or fast vehicles are not allowed in here. So I got to keep an extra eye on this. Well, so Baishizhou isn't rough, no. The wet markets, it's a little bit more. The first apartment I had there was the 7th floor with no elevator. So rough in terms of being unrefined. Neighborhood that is near and dear to me, and absolutely love it. So I understand that some foreigners who get somewhere like Baishizhou will be like, whoa, this is like rough. But for me, beautiful neighborhood. My bar is at Haiyue subway station, just behind Taiguchen. Taiguchen Beichu, if you speak Chinese, I don't know. All City North, behind All City North. Yes, I do like drinking baijiu. Originally I liked wuliangye. I think wuliangye is a really good introduction to baijiu. Like nongchanxing. But once you get used to baijiu, you really, the maotais, the jiangxianxing, really is quite attractive after that. It's a little bit of an acquired taste, isn't it? But yeah, I started on wuliangye. But now, a good maotai, you can't beat a good maotai. No, I've never heard of New Zealand. Is it a province of China? Come on, man, have you ever heard of New Zealand? Soju, yeah, I know, soju. Actually, there's a company in Chongqing that makes baijiu that's making that now also. Oh, no. They're making the Japanese, what do you call it? I just got a call, so that's why I got disconnected. It's interesting, actually, the Huawei phone. So somebody asked me how the Huawei P30. Love it. Obviously for here too, because you can actually program your bank card in it, so you don't need to carry your bank card with you anymore. You can use NFC. It tells you when somebody calls you if many other Huawei users marked that number as spam or as a scam. So just now I got a call, that's why we got disconnected, and it said this phone number has been marked as a spam for 33 times. So that's why I could just end it. Baijiu, you need distilling equipment, and it's a little bit. I don't have the equipment to do Baijiu. I think it's the last model that you can sideload Google services onto. Elevator is closed. I'm going to try to go upstairs. I have another scooter that works electric work. I can't remember. It's super powerful up this gradient with no problems. This cannot. So I'll have to. Now I'm carrying my scooter. See, that's the scooter here. I don't know if you can see that. It's a bit hard to readjust. Ooh, this is heavy. Oh, it's a good workout. This scooter is really heavy. Okay. All right, I can get back on the scooter. Let me show you guys what I'm riding. That's it there. I haven't seen my friends in Baijiu for quite a long time, since well before Chinese New Year. So I'm literally going to be seeing them for the first time, if they're there, with you guys, and if my battery doesn't run out. The scooter, it takes some time getting used to. It's very easy to fall off in the beginning, but once you get used to it, I mean, especially if you're used to, like I used to snowboard a lot, and you use the same kind of balance, intuition. Hold on a second, guys. Whew. I've got to remount my camera. Hold on a second. Now I've got to be extra careful to not fall off my scooter while I'm doing this, because I just finished saying that it's not easy to fall off. So wouldn't that be embarrassing? Okay, I'm back. There we go. I think we should be good now. YouTube and VPNs are not illegal in China. Obviously, they make you jump through a bunch of hoops, but there's no law. That's the one thing that everybody says all the time. That, oh, it's illegal. But no, it's not. I almost feel like they feel like if you're smart enough, my gimbal is unbalanced. If you're smart enough to figure out how to use a VPN, you're smart enough not to be fooled by some of the BS that's out there, which is one of the concerns. Obviously, Facebook was blocked after the Facebook refused to control some of the groups that the terrorists were using. Oh yeah, they'll regularly shut down VPNs. They'll regularly make you jump through hoops to figure out how to use it. That's not uncommon. Here too. It's annoying. But you know, after that stuff, that obviously you guys know I have quite a different opinion than most people on the Hong Kong protests. But after that stuff, and you see how easy it is to manipulate people, I have a little bit of a different opinion on the need to censor BS. And I mean, Hong Kong has obviously a deeper issue. If you look at their liberal arts studies in Hong Kong, and you look at the textbooks that they're using, where it's talking about China mainland in such an evil way, you can kind of understand why these kids grow up with such negative opinions towards China. If they grew up instead learning about, for example, the Kent State shootings in the U.S., or the Vietnam protests where tanks actually tried to roll over Vietnam war vets in Washington, D.C., or where they learnt about, now more recently, the lies that were propagated for the WMDs, where they were trying to create reports to justify intervention, and then they ended up having to remove 2 or 3 other countries off the list because people would obviously ask, well, if this is your concern, why aren't you measurement? We should be going after these other countries first. And of course the answer is they don't have oil. So that's why they don't intervene. But they can't just write that on the report. If kids learned more about this stuff, oh, they wouldn't be anti-China, they'd be anti-something else. China has no. Jose, the thing is people think China have more power in Hong Kong than they really do. If you look at even according to the handover agreements, all of the agreements, the MPC in Beijing has the right to have the final interpretation of what basic law is, but Hong Kong has ruled against it. There were a number of cases where, for example, China saw the problem with giving mainlanders, when they give birth in Hong Kong, giving them Hong Kong passports. So they asked Hong Kong to interpret the basic law in such a way that they would not give the babies of mainlanders Hong Kong passports. They said that to Hong Kong and Macau. Macau followed. Macau agreed. To this day, Macau will not give the babies of mainlanders a Macau passport. But Hong Kong said, no, we're going to do it our own way. And the judge was the judge who decided to rule against Beijing, even though technically he wasn't supposed to be able to, was connected to the Civic Party in Hong Kong, a pro-democracy party. So when you say, why don't they just ban those textbooks, they just don't have as much power as you think.哎呦，我在做直播，哎，你也在这里，好久不见，好久不见。现在有450个人在看，在好多不同的国家。Long time no see you。yeah， 好久了，是最少3个月。是的。3 months I haven't seen these guys. They own this restaurant. I've been to their hometown together with them. 我等一下回来。OK。哦，谁的宝宝？你的？ Yes. Oh, did you say? What kind of? Wow, one of my friends I haven't seen in ages has a baby now. I had no idea. Let's go see. 7个月, 7 months. Have lunch, brother? Dinner? 我等一下应该要回去了。我们下次可以一起过来。OK. 姐夫在不在？哦，我等一下过来。啊。 These guys, I've been to their hometown with them. They're from. 赶木子喽！哦，好久没看到你们。现在生意怎么样？
刚刚开业。
刚刚开业吗？
今天开业啊。
哦，今天？
对啊。
今天才开？
对啊。
哇 ！So these guys, they just opened today. They just reopened their restaurant today. Oh, wrong way. I gotta get off. I've been to their hometown. They're from Yiyang, Hunan. Actually, I gotta tell you guys, this is where I learned my Chinese restaurant with the staff. 哦，这个有一个哦，我知道，要检测那个。Wow, so this is usually the entrance I'll enter the village from, and it's locked up. You got to go through one main entrance. So one thing you guys have to keep in mind is what you'll usually see. Hey. Hello. I got to tell you guys a really interesting story. That guy who I just said hello to, the first time I met him, we almost got in a fight. And his son had run away and stole some money from the shop and spent 2 days outside in an internet cafe playing games, spending his money on playing games. And he found him, and he started like hitting him and pulling him out of the place. And I got really angry. I was like, I don't care if this is your kid, you can't do this. And we almost got into a physical fight. And now we are really, really good friends. That was 10 years ago. But this is the village I used to live in, behind here. Yeah, that's right, Hunan, and they're very close because their place is in Yiyang, in a small place. Their hometown is called Nanshan, and it's very close to the border. Yeah, up towards the north. Wow, look at that! You have to go through one entrance. So what you guys will usually see online from Western media is you will see these locked up areas where they'll say, "Oh, these people are locked in." But you actually just have to go through one main entrance. Oh, I have to use a disconnect this feed if I do that. I was going to introduce you to some more of my friends. I've got lots of friends in this village who own shops. Little restaurants, little mahjong shops, little variety stores. And love this neighborhood. This is Baishizhou. That was really cool to see my old friends. I had no idea. The guy, his name is Bozai. I had no idea he has a baby now. That's so cool. I literally haven't seen them in like 4 months. At least 4 months, actually. But always, like I have to say, I have to go back home for dinner. But you heard, if any of you understood Chinese, she was asking if I want to have dinner together with them, and they always treat us, and it's like kind of embarrassing. It's like after a while, it's like we're trying to fight to pay, and then they tell the qiantai, the front desk, early enough so that they don't let us pay, and it creates a situation where we don't want to go anymore because it's like 太不好意思了, too like, oh man, like at least let us pay sometimes. But so nice. I think you get that everywhere here. The people here are so nice. Yeah, fight to pay. That's right. That's what you got to do here. But you really feel like it after a certain point of time. After they treat you a certain number of times, you're just like, come on, let me pay. So those guys, because I learned Chinese from hanging out with those guys in that Hunan restaurant, my Chinese had a really thick Hunan accent when I first started. And actually, for the first couple of years, I always thought Hunan was pronounced Fulan with an F. And the first time I went to Beijing, the locals there, they said to me, they said, 哎，好奇怪，为什么这个外国人他说中文有湖南口音？ They said, wow, so weird. Why, when this foreigner speaks Chinese, he has a Hunan accent? Oh, look, there's a little foot coming out here. High school, that's so awesome that I'm passing it for you. Actually, I learned a lot of Fulanhua before I learned Putonghua. Like, I'll give you an example. If I'm in my bar and I want to say to somebody, this is my shop, in Yiyang, Nanxianhua, they will say, which is very similar to Changsha Hua. There's some differences, but they'll say, 果子钉子是我的, 果子钉子是我的. Or if you want to say, where is my, where's your wife? You'll say, 堂客在屋子咯. I'll give you an example of a difference. So they're in Yiyang, Nanshan, and so their Nanshanhua is very similar to Changsha Hua. And to give you an example of the difference, I'm breaking the law here. So in Nanshan, they'll say, for example, if they want to say 厕所, 洗手间在哪里? Where's the bathroom? They'll say 毛叔在屋子咯. But in Changsha, they'll say 毛师在屋子咯. A lot of Hunanhua and Jiangxi Hua is a lot of the same. Like, for example, like 恰饭, 吃饭, eat. 空告, 睡觉, sleep is the same. 吃饱了, 吃饱了, I'm full. A lot of Jiangxi Hua and Hunan Hua, Jiangxi language and Hunan language are the same. No, yeah, we nobody really waits for the green lights here. I'm sorry, don't report me. When you're on a scooter, you're above the law. Well, you're not supposed to be, but don't do this at home. Yeah, but with those Hunan restaurants, I learned my Chinese with them. I learned to drink baijiu with them, and I learned to eat binlang with them. I used to eat a lot of binlang, and actually I'm glad I quit. That's not a good habit, to eat binlang. It's betel nut. It's not good for you. But don't judge me. I'm breaking the law again. I'm going to wait here, though. You see, this guy's not going. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's clear. Okay, we're all wearing face masks. There's no facial recognition. Facial recognition is useless right now. What was I saying? So binlang, yeah, in Taiwan they also eat binlang, but they eat raw binlang in Thailand, and so when they chew it, it's very red. But in Hunan, it's like a kind of a cooked binlang. Hainan, in Hainan province, they have a lot of binlang also. I'm not sure how they eat it. I think they might eat it raw also, but they have a binlang village in Hainan, Binlang village in Hainan. Yeah, oh no, I don't eat any binlang at all anymore. It's not good for you. That's right, it's not good for you. Binlang, the English name for it is betel nut. Betel nut. Warning, police on the way. I break the law. I think it's convenient to break the law. Deal with it. Actually, everybody here, even the stop signs, a lot of people, I always get a lot of comments about stop signs, not stopping for stop signs. But actually the stop signs here, most people use it as a guide to say that, okay, the oncoming street that I'm coming onto has cars that will not stop for me. So they actually use it in the form of a yield sign, and nobody gets charged for that, for rolling through a stop sign. Whereas in Canada, even if you roll through at 5 kilometers an hour, even if you almost come to a complete stop, a lot of police officers will still grab you on that and just give you a really hard time, even though you almost came to a stop. So, so yeah. My gimbal's acting up a little bit. My gimbal might be low on battery too right now as well. I'm not hoping for me to wipe out. My phone is going to shut down in 30 seconds. That's it. My battery's done, guys. That's the tour. And I will see you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed that. And this was a test, so we'll do this again next time with a little bit more notice. Thanks, everybody, for joining.